Hi everybody, welcome to this channel. I want you to be rich. Today we're gonna do the stock exchange explain. So what is the stock exchange? What is the largest stock exchange? And why is it important to know about the stock exchange and how it affects your investment journey? Let's go. To understand stock exchange, let me share a story with you about my friend who built websites. He just built websites in his room, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And so at a point where he was bringing in $50,000-$70,000 a month, and he needed to hire people, buy more computers, probably have an office space. So what he can do is, number one, borrow money from his mom, put in his own money. Number two is to get a private investor. Go to somebody very rich or a company and say, hey, can you give me some money? I'd like to expand. And number three is to go for something called the initial public offering. So basically, the member of a public gives you money and you give them a share certificate. So again, the member of public thinks that your company is going to make money and they want to partner with you in the business, and you give them a share. So they become a shareholder. And in order to do that, you have to go to a place that exchanges this money and share certificate, and it's called a stock exchange. So what he can do is he can go through a due diligence. So basically, someone checks that his business is legitimate and he's really making money, and then go to the stock exchange, and people buy the share through the stock exchange and through a broker. So you go to a broker, the broker goes to the stock exchange goes to my friend who makes website, and my friend sells a share to you. This is similar to how Amazon, Google sells their shares. They sell it through the stock exchange by listing their shares on there. So you might want to ask, why do people want to buy shares? Say my friend who IPO, or why do people want to buy shares of Amazon? It is because they believe that by buying the share, Amazon is going to do well later on. Either Amazon is going to pay them a dividend because Amazon makes money and take some of this money and give it back to the shareholder. That's called a dividend. Or Amazon becomes bigger and bigger and more successful as a company, and they grow, and someone else is going to buy the share at a higher price. So maybe you bought a share at $10 and you get to sell the share at $90 and you make a profit of $80. So it is based on the perception of what people think the company is going to do. And the same for a seller. Why would someone sell the share? Is because they think they want to cash out. They want to sell their share to somebody and get back their money. So therefore, this place called a stock exchange help the seller and the buyer meet and exchange their sell and buy. So this is called a stock exchange. In a simple term, let's say my friend who makes a website now is listed. He gets money from member of the public who buy one share or two shares at say $100, and there are like 10,000 of them. So he gets all the money. He gets to expand, buy more computers, hire more developers, start an app, and then his business expanded. His shares started to do well. All the shareholders are happy. And the shareholder goes to this meeting called the annual general meeting. And this is where they control how the company is run. So if you have sufficient shares in the company, you get to tell the CEO or the president of the company what to do, because you own the shares. You technically own the company. You get to tell the company what to do, and you do this through a vote. And also, as a shareholder, you get a thing called a financial statement, so you get to see like what is going on. And Warren Buffett famously in his value investing reads and analyzes financial statements. So if you want to know what a financial statement is, I have links below on Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway's financial statement. So if you haven't seen a financial statement, have a look below. It's very educational. And if you have any question, comment below. And in the next chapter, I'm going to talk about the biggest New York Stock Exchange. I'm going to talk to you about the largest stock exchange in the world, where buyers and seller meet. So meaning a company that's private, like the example I gave you, meet with member of public like me, a retail investor, and I want to buy a share. I go through a broker, and then the company get listed on the stock exchange. And the largest stock exchange, no surprise, is the New York Stock Exchange, and is located at the famous street called the Wall Street. So New York Stock Exchange was started in 1792 on May 17 by 24 stockbrokers. And back then they would wear the hats and all that. Look at this picture. Under a tree, and they had an agreement. And one of the first stocks they traded were bonds for war, because there were a lot of wars and they have to finance all these wars. And today, as of January 2022, New York Stock Exchange is the largest in the world, and have companies like IBM, Ford, General Motors, General Electric listed on it. Market capitalization of $28.3 trillion. And the next second largest stock exchange in the world is the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ was set up as an electronic stock exchange, so there's no physical location. Even though at Times Square, you can see the NASDAQ logo. So New York Stock Exchange, if you pass by, you can go to Wall Street. It's located at 18 Broad Street. NASDAQ doesn't have one, but you can see it at Times Square. NASDAQ trails behind New York Stock Exchange at $27 billion, and is the exchange where Apple, Google, and Tesla are listed. And it's one of my favorite stock exchange. And stock exchange never close, rain or shine, except on holidays. It trades 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And although there's pre-trading and post-trading, but most retail investor and majority of us are trading 9:30 to 4 p.m. The only time I can remember the New York Stock Exchange that was closed due to a bad weather was October 2012. Hurricane Sandy hits, and the stock exchange was closed. And New York Stock Exchange, surprisingly, is incorporated as a non-profit corporation, and is also nicknamed the Big Board. Next up, I'm going to talk about the index and how they measure a stock exchange and how that reflects the health of the financial economy. So how do you measure the exchange? Because there are so many companies, and I'm going to introduce to you three famous indices, or they call the index. And it's important because a lot of retail investors are being advised to buy an index fund. So you got to know what an index is. An index, the three indexes: number one, the S&P 500, where they track 500 companies, the 500 most important companies in America. And it also takes in company from New York Stock Exchange as well as NASDAQ. And it's one of the most widely used in indices, the S&P 500. And then you have the NASDAQ 100. That has actually gone up 155% just over 5 years. Someone measured it. I can't remember which 5 year, but it's been going up. And then you have the Dow Jones indices, which measure only 30 companies. And the difference between Dow Jones and S&P, which is a little bit technical, is that the S&P takes a share price multiplied by the number of stocks, whereas the Dow Jones only look at the share price. So a lot of individual investors tend to look at the Dow Jones index rather than the S&P 500. For me, I look at the individual business like Warren Buffett does. I don't look at the indices because it's a combination of things, and businesses can perform differently. But overall, it gives you an idea, because let's say in 2008 subprime, I think the Dow Jones went down by 500 points, and that is significant indication that the economy is in very, very bad health, and banks started to collapse. So the indices are important. So which are the three indices again? The S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the Dow Jones. So these are the three indices that a lot of funds and other index fund that tracks. And these are the brokers in United States that handles a lot of the exchanges that I will list out and compare in my next video. If you like this video, please subscribe below and like. It really helps with the algorithm in YouTube. Thank you for watching. I want you to be rich. Hi there. If you like my video, please subscribe and like.